Hey friends, it's Robin. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about June releases. If you haven't seen one of these videos before, this is not a full list of all the releases. These are just the books that I personally have on my radar. I am filming this on the 29th, and I do have quite a few indie books on here, but indie books are announced in like a pretty short time frame, so I'm sure I am missing some. Tal Bauer, I am looking at you for announcing a book 6 days before its release that I don't know about yet. So if there are any new releases that aren't on this list that you think I should add, please leave them down in the comments. It can be so difficult to keep up with new releases, especially indie books. Authors are announcing them on their Instagrams and in their Facebook groups and all of these places, and sometimes I just don't see them and then I don't know about them until they're already out in the world. This is a pretty slow release month in general. Summer always seems to be significantly slower on releases, so we don't have a whole lot going on. So let's just get right into it. First up, we have What We Broke by Marley Valentine, which is actually already out, and this is an marriage in crisis. So we are following a hero who 7 years ago met this guy, and that guy never wanted a romance, but the two of them ended up falling in love and getting married, and then something absolutely tragic happens and their marriage is falling apart. I love a marriage in crisis. Plus, Marley Valentine always does such a good job with her balance between these like really heavy topics and the romance. And I can't wait for more books from her. And I have heard from some art group viewers that this is absolutely fantastic. So then on to June 6th, which is the first Tuesday of the month, we have 3 releases. First, we have We Could Be So Good by Kat Sebastian. She writes a lot of historical queer books, and I really like that her books tend to take place in very different time periods. She doesn't write exclusively Victorian romances. She has some romances that are well before that. This one is actually set in the 1950s in New York, when it was pretty dangerous at that point to be a gay man, and we are following a character who is a reporter for a massive newspaper, and he is trying to keep his identity secret. And then the son of the owner of the newspaper is being groomed to take over this newspaper. But he wants absolutely nothing to do with that. And so he decides that he is going to please his father and come in and try to run the company and prove to his father that he is going to fail. But the reporter keeps saving him from all of his mistakes, and the two of them end up falling in love. And I am so excited for this book. I love Kat Sebastian's characters so much. I'm so excited for these characters. I think the entire setup for this book sounds like an absolutely perfect book for me, and I can't wait for this one. Then we have the first book in a new series by N.R. Walker, and that is Outrun the Rain. And this is actually an romance set in Australia following 2 storm chasers. Both chased storms for very different reasons, and I believe they end up like locked in a bunker somewhere while chasing a storm, and they have a romance. That's all I know about it. I love N.R. Walker's books that are set in Australia. I think she does such a good job with the setting and like making the setting feel important to her books. This is also a really cool concept. And then the last book on this day is one of my most anticipated books. That is Mortal Follies by Alexis Hall. I believe this is Alexis Hall's first fantasy romance, and I'm insanely excited for it. It is a sapphic romance that is set in 1814. And we are following a noblewoman who is trying to break into high society, but it seems that she is cursed, and she ends up pairing up with a rumored witch who is nicknamed like the Duke because she supposedly killed off her father and all of her siblings in order to inherit their fortune. And the two of them have to work together to try and break the curse. It sounds so good. I know a couple of people who have already read this, and they told me that it gave them the same vibes as like the Wisteria Society series by India Holden, and it has me even more excited for this one. I absolutely can't wait for it. Then onto June 8th, we have Atlas by Eden Finley, which is the next book in the Mike Bravo Ops series. All of Eden Finley's books, even the ones with her and Saxon James, they all take place in the same world. And this one in particular is following this like secret bodyguard-esque group, and I don't know who this one follows or anything like that. It is the third book in a series. I will say that with their books, it is best to read them in order just because you do get to see all of the cameos of the characters, but you could totally read them as standalones if you really preferred. But I believe that this one is a character being a bodyguard at a strip club and falling in love with the bartender, if I'm not mistaken. On to June 13th, we have one that people probably don't need me to tell them about, but that is Love Theoretically by Ellie Hazelwood, and this is the next book in her STEMinist world, and this one is following an adjunct professor, a physicist, who moonlights as a fake girlfriend, and her best client ends up having an older brother who is one of her co-workers. It is a guy that is in the same field as her, and he sits on the chair for a big paper, and now he knows her secret, and the two of them have a romance. This feels very similar to Allie Hazelwood's other books, but I don't even care. I will read all of her books. I don't even care. I love her romances. I think they're so fun and funny and lighthearted, and they're just really good times. June 23rd, we have Mantras and Minotaurs by Ashley Bennett. This was originally supposed to come out in May, and it ended up getting pushed back, and this is the next book in the Leviathan Fitness series, which is a monster romance series set in the human world, and monsters have revealed themselves, and now we are following these characters who all attend Leviathan Fitness, which is a gym that is run by monsters. And this one is obviously a Minotaur romance. I don't know who the characters are in this because I've only read the first book in the series. These books are really short, they're really fun, they're really adorable. Then on June 26th, we have A Turn in the Air by A.H. Cunningham. This is the next book. I don't remember the name of the series, but book one, it was Plie. And this is following one of the best friends from that first book, and it's following Sal. This is a marriage of convenience, which I'm so excited about. The hero, I think, is a dancer, and I think he is there on a visa, and he gets injured, and his visa is like in trouble, and he might have to leave the country, and he doesn't want to have to leave the country because he is in physical therapy and wants to keep dancing. And I think the two of them are going to have a marriage of convenience, and I love that. The covers in this series are so stunning, like unbelievable. I don't know who the artist is, and it wasn't linked in the post, but these covers are amazing. Fucking love them. And then the last release day is June 27th, and we have two books. First is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston, which is the sophomore like adult romance by this author, and this is another really cool premise from this author. I loved her adult romance debut because it was a very unique premise. This is about these two main characters falling in love, but they are 7 years apart, living in the same apartment, and they are able to communicate. And it is their romance. And I think that is such a fascinating concept. I just think she's doing some really, really unique things with her premises, and I'm very excited for this one. I think it's going to be great. I loved the first book. I gave it 5 stars. I think this one is going to be just as fantastic. And then the last book, supposedly on this day, is Into the Tempest by N.R. Walker. And this does not have a blurb yet or anything like that, but this is supposed to be the next book in that Storm Chasers series. So maybe that will be coming out on the 27th. Maybe it'll get pushed back, but as of right now, it is marked for the 27th. So that is it for the new releases in June. Like I said, it's a super slow, light month. I'm sure there are lots of other big releases that are coming out that I didn't mention here because I don't read those books. But like I said, let me know if you have any additional indie books, especially indie romances that you know about that are coming out this month that I may have missed. I would love to add them to my list. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.